Wizards of the Coast may have reached too far. Wizards of the Coast needs to prepare themselves. Player expectations are not like they used to be. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out today for another video. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Wizards of the Coast, they gave us a good lineup. We got Lorwyn Eclipsed, another Universes Beyond set that's unannounced. You've got the Secrets of Strixhaven. It seems like it wasn't that long ago that we were there, but okay, we're going back. Then we've got the Marvel Superheroes set. Then we're going to follow up with what? The Hobbit. Come on, that's going to just blow everyone's mind. Then we got the Reality Fracture. And then we've got Magic the Gathering with Star Trek. That's a lot of main key sets that are going to fit into Standard. It's going to be huge, right? But not only that. We also got all those secret layer drops. Now, when you look at the lineup from Wizards of the Coast, it almost seems like it has no rhyme or reason. But there's a lot going on. First off, Lorwyn Eclipse, it's about time. It's going to be a jam-packed set that players are looking forward to, and it's probably going to start the year off on a high note. Good for them. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but it looks like that, judging by the artwork and the way they're putting the set together so far, knowing there's going to be serialized cards. Awesome. Now, the unannounced Marvel set, I can't really comment on that until we get more information. But I do know that when you start adding these unannounced Universes Beyond sets, they're been pretty good and they've been well received. Think about Final Fantasy. Now, of course, you could say think about Spiderman, but let's wait until that one comes around before we really make an opinion. Now, the Secrets of Strixhaven. Now, I'm not big on that set. I'm not going to be excited about it because I wasn't excited about the original. There were cards I liked, but I didn't like the idea of that particular Magic world, and we'll have to see what they do with it because Wizards of the Coast could be rehashing things to a darker storyline that's going to carry a lot more flavor for players. You never know what they're going to do. Tarkir Dragonstorm, although I didn't like all the stories, the cards, concepts, and designs did carry very well. Players get big on nostalgia, but Strixhaven's really not that old, so if there was a set right now that I'd be kind of down on, it would probably be Strixhaven. There will be fans of that set, no doubt. Harry Potter wannabe set, but I just feel that if I was going to pick one out right now, that's my one. Now, when we talk about the Marvel superhero set, right? Superhero Super Friends. Remember Saturday Morning Super Friends? If anyone's old enough, you get it. When you think about it, they showed pictures of like X-Men characters and stuff, and they did talk about wanting to put the secret layer X-Men cards back into a set, right? So they're probably going to drop inside that set. Makes sense, right? And X-Men's from 1963, I believe, is the first publishing of that set. So when you look at how long X-Men has been around, and a lot of the main superhero lineup, Wizards of the Coast has so many characters they can draw upon probably, and there may be key characters that Disney wants represented, that we'll have to see how they play this out. Now, let's not forget, these cards have to fit into Standard. They can't just go anywhere. They have to fit in the idea of a Standard set lineup. So if that's going to be the case, then we can understand there will be limitations on what can be done and the power level. But, as we've seen, Tarkir Dragonstorm, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, and then some downplayed sets also fit in there like Duskmourn, okay? Not everything has to be powered, but it has to level itself out, so some of these sets will probably be a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. And that's where I think Strixhaven stuff will fall in. Now, The Hobbit, again, the original was kind of the Tales of Middle-earth. That was geared to modern, right? But now we have it in a standard lineup. So expect some watered-down cards with a few powerhouse cards mixed in. And don't forget, guys, powerhouse cards don't have to be up in your face. They have to be subtle. Wizards of the Coast loves to twist the card text around to make you not think it's anything and then throw you for a loop. That's what I expect to see in this set, as well as a lot of like fond memory characters coming back. I hope they give us more of even some generic creatures from Middle-earth. I'd love to see more Balrogs. I'd love to see more of Gandalf, different versions. There's lots of characters they can draw on, but it's going to be the set to look at. That's the one that I think most people are really going to get out of their stands for and say, I'm buying that set. But don't forget, Wizards of the Coast is well aware of that as well. And they may be putting too many hot sets together in a single year to really justify your wallet being open that long. Keep it in mind. Now, Reality Fracture. Now, for that set, a lot of people were wondering about Yawgmoth or something coming back. I think we're likely going to see Emrakul. It's going to be a more recent set thing, and it's been a while since we've talked about Emrakul. It would make sense if it was either Emrakul or Nicol, or some combination of both. Doesn't Emrakul do that kind of thing, like reality warping and stuff? Anyway, I think that'd be a perfect time to bring that back. And it looks like some of that original artwork they showed with like the peaks and stuff reminded me of Zendikar. Maybe Emrakul's going back or something. I don't know. I just feel like that kind of fits in. And I think that's going to be a set that could be big or might not be anything at all. Depends on how they put it together. We saw how Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar and stuff went, big sets, but then Oath of the Gatewatch, not so hot, and then Zendikar Rising, same kind of things. They kind of downplayed some of the other cards when they need to kind of bring back the Eldrazi, bring back that power level, and kind of gear it so players have some tribal cards to chase, as well as some new inventive cards to put into different mixed up sets. It'd be great. Now, of course, Star Trek, up in the air. They could give us another Spider-Man version where things are kind of watered down to a standard level. Photon torpedoes, teleporters, that kind of crazy stuff, as well as all kinds of spaceships, right? It makes sense. We just saw those in Edge of Eternities. It makes sense they would bring them around for Star Trek as well, okay? USS Enterprise, the Defiant, Deep Space Nine. You could do all kinds of different things. I'm going to keep that one open. As a Star Trek fan, especially Next Generation, where I kind of grew up watching the show, I watched the rehashed, the 1960s version. I think it was 1966 was the original Star Trek? I remember watching it in reruns as a kid. But then when Next Generation came along, it caught my eye, the Borg and stuff, right? So I'm hoping that they can represent that set properly. But again, look at all these hot sets lining up. They're all just one after another. And then there's any surprise stuff in between. Any other crazy little mixed up things, because, they always throw something else in. They don't just give us this as the lineup and say, that's what you're going to have. They add little things in throughout the year. Hey, we're going to do this. And hey, this just appeared. Always be ready. Now, those secret layers. I mean, Jaws. Now, I saw the Iron Maiden one. I saw Jaws. The Last of Us, couple of different levels of it, right? Part 1, Part 2. God of War, right? Furby. Now, I think Furby, to me, is nightmare fuel. That thing's like from 1998. That means people who grew up with that are probably in their 20s. They're going to remember it, and they might, buy into that kind of stuff. Then you've got like the God of War stuff. That's like 2005. I remember playing God of War. I remember my brother-in-law just loving that thing. And you know what? Kratos, the 3 casting cost red, looks awesome. I gotta be honest, a lot of these cards do look good. The ones who are original, not the rehash versions. The Iron Maiden stuff, I look at that. That's from 1980s, like album cover for Iron Maiden, I think. Anybody can quote me on that one who knows in the thing. I think it's 1980. You can look at that and you can say to yourself, the artwork is epic, no complaints, but let's not forget that these are all just vanity cards, right? They already exist on paper. Same as Jaws. Jaws, 1975. Honestly, I don't think the artwork looks that great. And although I like the idea of Jaws, again, it's a vanity cover plate. These are cover plates going over cards that already exist. I saw a lot of people making those comments about Soul Ring, right? They'd say, Soul Ring, there's so many different versions now. Now, the vanity cover plates of all those cards, though, have different uses because everyone has a different style. And Wizards of the Coast seems to be honing in on everyone having a style. The question will be, though, are you going to pay $40, $50 to get that stylized, vanity cover card? Is that going to be enough for you? Because a lot of players, I think, are getting tired of it again. I think in some cases, secret layers are going to go back to, I'm going to pick and choose based on what I really want. Especially when you see the lineup of all these different secret layers appearing. Some people are going to be appealing to more than one. Others will say, there's only 1 or 2 cards I want. I'll buy the singles. And let's face it, there's so many cards that already exist that you're like, how many copies and versions of that card do I need? So Wizards of the Coast might be reaching a little too far by ramming so many of these new secret layers down with all the other standardized sets and whatever little, surprise little bits they add in later on. People tend to forget sometimes how much they actually put out. And some people get exhausted and really comment about it. Others just enjoy the ride and say, I'm going to pick and choose the ones that hit me and I'm going to ignore all the rest. And I think that's what's going to happen this year. I think more than other years, like Tarkir and the sets we saw this year really hit home for a lot of people. And we didn't really have any really bad performing sets other than Karlov Manor. So when I look at these ones, I say, I think, maybe Strixhaven's the Dog Day Dinner that won't do as well, but it depends on what the unannounced sets and stuff are. But I can look at the lineup from Lorwyn all the way through to the Marvel lineups. These will be full-size sets, I believe, that those are going to be pretty hot commodities, and players can't afford to buy them all at the prices we're seeing. So they're going to start picking and choosing. And that's where things are going to get interesting, because Wizards of the Coast needs to keep generalized play boxes affordable for players. And they're playing this gamble right now. They got to focus more on giving the exclusive nature to the collector boxes, but make sure that those play booster boxes stay affordable for players to get generic versions of new released cards to build decks, or what's the point? Guys, let me know what you think. Drop some comments in the comment section. Share your thoughts, because this lineup to me, it looks amazing, but it also looks very crowded. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with the Moxman. Thanks for being here today, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of those patrons, daily uploaded content is made possible each and every day. And without those patrons, well, it just couldn't be happening the way it does right now. So thank you again. Thank you for believing on Team Moxman, and we're going to keep this party going for as long as we possibly can. Shop smart, shop S-smart, and don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow with, of course, another video. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We're at the Ramble Jamble section of the video. If you've never been here before, leave. It's too late for you now. You can't stay. You can come to the next one, but not this one. Not this one. Of course you can stay. I don't care. Hang out, man. Pull up a chair. Let me have some coffee. Remember, if you see this cup, it means I came directly from work, and it's late, but that's okay. I burned the midnight oil. We got to make this happen. So, I'm already hearing complaints about just how crowded the release schedule seems, because everyone knows that Wizards of the Coast fits all these secret layers, more secret layers, into the mix. They fit other little mini sets, or a special collector thing, or a holiday bundle, something we didn't expect. They fit these in, these little subsets. They still draw on income because they're so cool, so exciting. Now, I believe, unlike some of the people I've been talking to, you really should be picking and choosing. You don't have to hit everything, because not all these things are going to matter. Not every set demands your attention. Maybe a single card inside, like Stock Up from Aether Drift. You got to have it? Fine. Buy 4. Got to have it. That's like, what, $60. You didn't have to buy a box. You didn't have to open 55 packs to get the 4 copies. You just bought the 4 copies you needed. If you're a standard player, you got to go that route, because it's just insane to try to keep up with that many boxes. That being said, I think more and more people are thinking that way. And that leads me to kind of think that maybe we're going to have an issue again with single prices like we did before. Now, we've had a real glut of cards enter the market, which has kept the prices low. But we remember those early draw for Tarkir Dragonstorm, those prices went insane and people kind of forgot. And when that happens, you know, you're going to have the market just jump up. And when it jumps up like that, it makes it very expensive for players to buy individual cards. And you're going to say, well, these singles are too expensive. And that's because enough boxes didn't get opened. But the boxes were expensive. Exactly. Tiger by the tail, man. Just going round and round. And that's when you just have to pick and choose. That being said, I'll be skipping every single secret layer that we saw. I thought about it. I like the cards, but there's not a single one that I have to have. Interesting, right? It's just not enough for me. Now, the sets that are coming up, Lorwyn, the X-Men, like the superhero ones, those are going to get me. I can't help it. There's certain sets that are really going to draw me in, okay? And I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to present them, the power levels involved, and how they're going to mix this into standard. I am very interested in seeing how this is all going to play out. So I'm not going to play a negative Nelly. I'm going to be a realistic Roger and be like, just pay attention to your wallet, stay on budget, and we'll see what people think. Guys, thanks again. Thanks for hanging out here at the end of the Ramble Jamble. Turn the lights off when you leave. And you know what? Stay as long as you want. Just turn off the lights when you're done. All right?